Tree's dead, but the cats still like it. What's going on, everyone? Jason with Wandering Grace Farm. Today the project is to plant another tree. Let me show you what we got. So last year we planted this magnolia tree and it did all right. It thrived. Unfortunately, it's not next to any water sources necessarily. And so we planted one on the north side in between the guinea coop and the house. So we have one over there next to the guinea coop. And we're watering the coops, we're watering the chickens, the guineas, we're watering down there. And so that one always gets water, that one never was an issue. But this one, it's always an afterthought to water these. We're usually pretty good about filling up a bucket and coming out here and watering this one. But it got away from us this year. This summer we had some hot temps, strong south wind, and it just dried it out, and before we knew it, it was dead. And so we were bummed, we were disappointed. Lesson learned, make sure you remember all the plants. Sometimes if you have too much going on, then it will, you forget things. But we ended up getting this maple, can't remember what kind it is. It's a autumn blaze maple. We ended up getting this maple probably about, 5 weeks ago. And it's just been sitting in this pot next to this tree. And so we're going to replace this magnolia, this dead magnolia, with this autumn blaze maple. So the plan is to dig out the magnolia. I'm interested to see how the root structure is after a year and a half of planting it. I don't remember what size it was when we first put it in there, but it was a pretty big pot. So we'll see what the roots are like with that. Luckily the maple, the new one, isn't as big, so the hole doesn't have to be really big. But we'll, like we did with the orchard, we'll put some compost in with the sand to help retain a little bit of water. And then we'll put the new tree in and pack in the dirt. Get the, you should be able to end up using the stakes, the same supports that we did for the magnolia. So we should be good there, but we'll see how it goes. Something tells me these guys are gonna make working out here a little difficult today. Okay, tree has successfully been put in the ground. Let's take a look at the old one. So this is a magnolia. I don't remember the exact type. Maybe I'm not even gonna venture a guess. But what we noticed was the leaves started curling, started getting a little brown. And so that's when we realized, oh no, we forgot about this one. And so we tried to just put a mess ton of water on it, and it just never came back. And sometimes, you know, if you sit there and you get these outer limbs, and you know, sometimes they're a little pliable, a little bendable, and they don't break like that. But no, those things cracked right after we noticed that it was dead, essentially. So interesting enough, I expected the roots to be a little bit more robust than they are. I thought that they would start spreading out, but they still are pretty compact, like the day that we put them in the ground. And so I don't necessarily know what to make of that. You know, we do break up the roots. In the video, you saw me breaking up those roots for the tree that we put in. Excuse me, Uno. Let's turn this over. So there's the other side of it. But I don't know. Like I said, I thought the roots would start branching off a little bit more, and they would essentially go where the stakes are for where the tree is, but that wasn't the case. So I don't know what to make of that. I'll have to ask around, and if anybody has an idea on why they stayed compact like that and they didn't start branching out, I'd appreciate just a little heads up. But looking at the tree that we put in, again, this is a maple tree. And only thing left to do really is to put the ring around it, get some sand, some dirt from another part of the farm, and just do the berm around it to hold the water. I had what we call tan bark, but mulch in there originally when we first put the magnolias in, just to keep the water, retain the water. But we got guineas roaming around. At the time we had chickens that were roaming around as well, and so and the wind, it just scatters it. So we're not going to put anything on top, we'll just leave it as is, but we need to get the ring around it. I did raise the supports up because originally the supports were down here, and that was just a lot of height that was going to have to take the wind. So I wanted to get the supports a little bit higher, so that's where we had it. It's pretty tight right now. We'll see what it does. We'll probably end up loosening it up a little bit, but once it loses its leaves, the wind shouldn't be too much of a factor. But that's what we got. So that's it for the project. Replacing a tree, something you didn't anticipate, but you just have to do it. If anybody has, like I said, anybody has any ideas on the root ball and why it didn't branch out, we put it in, I think, maybe April or May of last year, I think. So it's only been about a year and a half maybe since we put it in. So I expected the roots to spread more than they had, and they didn't spread at all, it seems like. So anyone has any ideas on if that's normal or if there's something we could do different, appreciate a little advice. But thanks for watching. As always, stay rooted.